crazy ending there, getting 8 runs in the 9th inning. Just, you know, what was kind of going through your mind when your team was just really making them try to throw strikes?
Well, you know, you're going down 7 runs in that last inning there, and you're just fighting for your next at-bat. Start snowballing there. You know, you don't see that often, and it just starts snowballing, and the strike zone gets a little bit smaller for the pitcher. You know, credit to their starter, Baker. I mean, he ended up going, he went as long as he could. He gave him a great effort, got away, and you still think that you're still sitting pretty good, at least on their end. And I still think in our dugout, too, until you end up seeing something generated, probably just sitting there and say, this is going to be a tough challenge. I don't know if it's going to end up being for the good or not, but I don't know, it's crazy. You know, it's tough to explain. It's just something you don't see that often, and you may never see 2 of those in your career. So obviously very happy to continue to end up advancing tonight.
After not really getting, you know, a whole lot off of their starting pitcher, they brought in some relievers. You know, you guys were drawing a lot of walks there at the end, getting the singles that you needed to get. You know, just how impressed were you with the guys to be able to mount such a big comeback?
Well, in a situation like that, you want their pitchers to throw strikes. So you're going up there basically going to end up taking a strike. And again, it's just you don't want that snowball effect on their end, you know, if you're on their end of throwing ball after ball, and it did. One thing leads to another at-bat to another at-bat, you know, a lot of balls thrown in those at-bats there. So it's tough to explain on either end. We're just sitting there, we're letting them throw. It's their job as a pitcher to throw strikes, and we're just sitting there waiting until the strikes are thrown, and then we got to go to work in the at-bat.
You can definitely tell, too, that their pitchers were starting to get rattled there. Did you say anything to the guys like before they went up to hit?
No, I mean, all we did, we were going up in the take mode. You know, we're not going to swing right away. We didn't want to. And then until they end up throwing strikes and proving that they can throw strikes consistently, then we're going to end up being in that hit mode. So nothing else there's nothing unusual that any other coach would do. Just sit there and just make the pitcher throw strikes.
Did you think, you know, up until the 9th inning, of course, did you think the guys were maybe getting a little frustrated? Because you guys were hitting the ball hard, but it seemed like it was all ground outs and, you know, big flies to, you know.
No, I think so. Yeah, I mean, you know, Baker was throwing well. We ended up tying that score. You know, the score was tied there for a while. They broke the ice, and then they ended up busting out a little bit, and they scored those 3 runs in the 8th inning and kind of spread it out. You know, I know Coach Maloney's still coaching. It didn't matter if there's 3 or 4 runs, suicide squeeze, you're stealing bases, you're trying to end up getting that run across the plate. I can't blame him because you're not the home team. You know, it was unfortunate we ended up giving those 3 runs in that 8th inning there. Made it a little bit more challenging for us, but our guys came through.
And I know, Dyer wasn't the one that had like the most damage done to him, but he played a pretty good game, pretty solid effort for you guys through the first 6 or so innings. You know, how do you feel like?
Yeah, he did. You know, Patrick has been a starter for us his whole career, and he ended up getting hurt early in the season, and he was our Sunday guy. So he's been in this mode before. He ended up pitching 2 games in the MAC championship last year. He's a senior. He was rested. He was fine. He did his job. He did a great job for us. It would have been nice if he would end up, you know, shutting them down, giving up no hits, no runs, and going 9 innings. But he gave his best effort, and that's all we can ask of him.
And I know, a couple weeks ago when you played Kent State in the 3-2 overtime game, you kind of told me that you built some nice momentum going into the tournament. And, you know, here you are playing Ball State again later tonight with a chance to make it to the championship game. Just how have you guys been able to build off of that momentum that you talked about games ago?
I think what it is situations that are created for you. If you can end up taking advantage of those, that ends up building the momentum. And you come through at the right time. And just little things. It can be in the first inning. That builds momentum. We get back into the MAC tournament, and again, you don't know what can happen. As long as you're in that tournament, anything can happen with any team. So that's the way we approached it. Our number 1 goal was to end up getting into the MAC tournament. Then and there, it doesn't matter if you're number 1 or number 8, you're still going to face good teams no matter who they are. And that's the mentality that we approach it with.
Do you think that last inning there also going into tonight's game kind of gives you guys the momentum edge as far as, you know, just everybody's already fired up from what just happened?
Yeah, sure. No, I hope so. I mean, I hope we can maintain that. Now we still have to end up executing on the field. We've got to have a good performance on the mound. We've got to play good defense, not give them any extra outs, and make the plays. We got to get the hits when the runners are in scoring position there. It's not going to be easy because those guys can still swing the bat. We still have to execute on all phases.